Yes, people, welcome to another edition of the Big Fights, Big Nights Only show on Sarcasm City TV, hosted by myself, Flawless Mr. Take Note. I'm not joined by my Don JK because he had an emergency, but salute to JK. It is late over here in the UK. It is 10 past, well, just nearly 10 past 6 in the morning, 10 past 6. But first and foremost, salute to everybody who's locked in right now live. If you're watching this live right now on the YouTube, or you're watching on my Periscope. So if you're watching on the That's Be Flawless Periscope, please make sure you get over to YouTube. Get over to YouTube, type in Sarcasm City, hit the like button on the video, and subscribe to the channel. We are here to recap. Well, I'm here to recap quickly. ERROL Spence Jr. defeating Danny Garcia via unanimous decision. Like I was saying already in the comments, Usama here says the hashtag the truth, Spence. And yo, Spence proved he was the truth. That is fact. You know what I'm saying? Like he really didn't miss a beat. Obviously, after the car crash, I was unsure. I think many other people were unsure in the build-up. Danny Garcia mentioned it. Angel Garcia mentioned it in terms of what will he be like after the crash. He really didn't miss a beat because them two went at it. I tweeted this out during the fight. Those two went at it. And again, I just seen the numbers spike up. If you're watching on my Periscope right now, this is the Big Fights, Big Nights Only show on Sarcasm City TV. Please head over, retweet this actually. If you're watching on my Periscope, first and foremost, retweet and like it so we get as many people in there as possible. Secondly, get over to the YouTube, type in Sarcasm City, hit the like button on the video and hit the subscribe button on the channel with the notification bell in it. You lot really are supporting, and that, like I said, I've seen the numbers spike up and that we got just under 30 people watching. Usama here says statement win after the accident. That is a fact. Statement win. Yes, we all expected him to beat Danny Garcia, but this was more a question of how is he going to look? Is Danny Garcia going to cause him problems? Because I think before the accident, I fully expected ERROL Spence to win the fight. After the accident, I still expected him to win the bout, but it was a question of how is he going to look? That's what was going to be interesting. And like I said, he didn't miss a step. The first two rounds, both of them was like they was checking each other out. And then the third round, light switch hit, and the fight just clicked into gear. Like I'm unsure. I don't know why the battle went that way, but Spence Spence put on, what's the word I'm looking for? Yes, Spence went for it. Danny Garcia went for it, and that man just fought at a frantic pace. You know what I'm saying? They were fighting like from the third round. They were fighting like that was the 11th or the 12th, like that was the championship rounds. Before I do go, I might put the link. Let me know actually if anyone wants to jump on. I will put the link in the description now for anyone to have their say. Like I said, this is only a quick recap considering it is just me, but I have now just dropped the link. The StreamYard link is now in the chat. So if you're watching on YouTube, it's there. If it's on Facebook, it's there. Also on the Periscope, it's there. So if you want to jump on and have your say, let me know. I'll just put it there. Usama here says he admitted he was a bit tired because he lost 3 to 4 rounds max. I'd say 2 were from tiredness. You can tell when his coach told him to fix up. Yeah, and that's understandable, him being tired. Obviously, he hasn't fought since September 2019. It's now December 2020. So you understand ring rust, especially. You would understand that if he didn't have the accident being out that long, but adding the fact he had the accident and he was out of the ring that long, that tells you all you need to know. But like I said, I expected him to show some form of effects, and to me, he didn't. To me, ERROL Spence, he did not at all show any signs of the accident affecting him, because Garcia, we know, can punch one, and Garcia caught him a couple times, but Spence was fine. There was never any moment in the fight where he looked like he was in trouble at any moment, to me anyway. Again, if you're watching on Periscope, hit the retweet button and the like button, please. And then once you've done that, cross over to the YouTube, type in Sarcasm City. Shout out my big bro, AV8. You know what I'm saying? Happy belated birthday again to both AV8 and Mikey, my big bros. AV8, let me know if you watched the bout. Let me know if you watched the bout. Usama, and to anyone else who's watching. Also, Usama here says his chin is mad. Yeah, he has a very good chin, because he had a very good chin beforehand. Like before the accident. So it's like, how does it hold up? And Danny Garcia is the perfect test for that. Whether you rate Danny Garcia or not, we know he can crack. You know what I'm saying? And look at the pace that man fought. That still surprised me. I still, from the third round, the way that man took off at that pace up until, it was like from the third to like the 9th, 10th round. And we got to give credit to Danny Garcia as well, because Danny Garcia, he got caught with some big shots. There's a couple of times he looked to me like he was wobbled, and I thought he might be on his way out, because we know Spence is a very good finisher down the stretch. And Danny Garcia stood up. He definitely did. He definitely did. Aviate says no, did not see the fight. Yeah, Spence won by unanimous decision. It was just a question of how many rounds you had it by. I didn't score it like that, but it was a wide UD. Like, there was no debate. There's no robbery talk or anything like that. No robbery talk. But salute to Danny Garcia. But he came up short, as to be expected. I don't think anybody had Danny Garcia winning. And I think the only way we had Danny Garcia winning was via knockout number 1 or number 2. Errol Spence is no longer what he was. But it seems from this, Spence first and foremost, personally, and which is great for us as boxing fans, because the fight we all want to see in 2021 is Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. That, I believe, is 2021. I think that's at the top of everybody's wish list. That is what Wilder and Joshua was beforehand. You know what I'm saying? Before Joshua, like that period of time when they were trying to make Wilder Joshua happen, when Fury was kind of out of the picture. Well, yeah, before Joshua Wilder number 1, that was the fight we all wanted to see, and we didn't get it. So I'm hoping in 2021, it seems that Terence Crawford is on his way out, and he's on his way out from Top Rank. Hopefully he goes over to PBC, and we get to see Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence, Terence Crawford versus Sean Porter, Terence Crawford versus Danny Garcia. These are all Terence Crawford versus Keith Thurman. These are all bouts we would like to see. AV8, yeah, watch it. It's a good fight. Usama says, I had it 8-4. Respect Danny Garcia, but he ain't Spence or Crawford levels. And I agree with that. And I think that's the issue. I think Danny Garcia is competitive against everybody else, bar those two. Like, definitely, bar those two, he's definitely competitive against anyone else, whether you have him beating a Sean Porter or beating a Danny Garcia or whoever. I know he's fought them. Obviously, he lost to Thurman. But yeah, it depends on how you have it. AV8 says Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence, big fight. Massive fight. Massive fight. That's the one we all want to see now. And Terence Crawford's had his run out. He beat Kell Brook. Errol Spence has come back. He just beat Danny Garcia. Right, 2021 is now the time to make that fight. And hopefully we get it twice. I'd like to see it twice. Usama says, yo, flawless March time. Spence versus Pacquiao, Crawford versus Porter, then the big one in December. Spence versus Crawford. Ooh, that's fire. That's fire. I think we'd all love to see that. March times, if you got Spence versus Pacquiao and then Crawford versus Porter. Ooh, Spence Pacquiao, that's a very good fight. We can't forget about Pacquiao. That's a very good fight. Spence versus Pacquiao, and then you have Crawford versus Porter again, which I think would be a great fight, because one thing Sean Porter does, whether he wins or he loses, he brings the fight to you. He's gonna force Terence Crawford to fight at a frantic pace the entire way. Obviously, I think Crawford wins. I think Crawford beats him because he's elite. But we've seen it when Porter fought Spence. He pushed Spence to fight the whole time, and what a knockdown that was via Spence in that fight. So hopefully we get it. I'd love to see it. March time, Spence Pacquiao, then you get Crawford Porter. I am all for that. Again, if you're watching on my Periscope, I must keep saying this because that's where we have more watches. Retweet the tweet, like it, then cross over to YouTube, type in Sarcasm City. This podcast and audio of a podcast on Sarcasm City TV are also available in audio-only platforms. So please, wherever you listen to podcasts, so if it's SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, wherever, just type in Sarcasm City. You'll be able to get this podcast and audio of the shows on Sarcasm City TV in audio, so you can listen to them at work, in your house, in your car, etc., etc. But yeah, like I stated, yeah, man. My boy AV8 says, geez, Usama promoter facts, and the StreamYard link is in there if anyone wants to jump on. Like I said, it's just by myself tonight, but shout out to my boy JK. He will be back because obviously we got AJ Pulev coming up. We've got Canelo Smith. That's also coming up as well. So we got AJ Pulev next week and then Canelo Smith the week after that. So December the 12th is AJ Pulev, and then December 19th is then Canelo Liam Smith. So yeah, man, we're going to be here. Usama says, come on, G. He needs to come to PBC first, trying to sort out the deal. I'm moving like Ed Woodward. You're moving better than Ed Woodward because the idea is fire. Get me? Them three matchups you just named there, the two in March, and then the Spence Crawford I'm with. I prefer to see Spence Crawford twice. If we got Spence Crawford in March and then got it again, I don't know, in November, I'm with it, because it's rare that you get two elite fighters in the same division at the same time, both in their prime. And I believe they're two elite fighters. Like, I think people throw around the word elite too much just in general in sport. Like with football, world class. I think in boxing it's the same. I don't think there's many elite fighters in boxing, you know what I'm saying, who are a cut above and make B and C level fighters look bad, you know what I'm saying, or cruise to a victory. Like the way Errol Spence cruised to a victory, the way we've seen him cruise to victories, the way we've seen Crawford cruise to victories. Like they're a level above everybody else around him apart from each other. Usama says, I'd love that. Canelo versus GG versus Triple G was epic, man. Yeah, that's facts. And the thing is, I don't think Canelo and Triple G are on the level, I'm saying, fighting each other as a Spence and a Crawford. I think Spence Crawford really is the proper 50-50. It would be like when Mayweather in his heyday, it'd be Mayweather and someone else. It's like, I think Tyson Fury is elite. I don't think there's any other elite heavyweights right now currently. That doesn't mean he can't be beat if he has an off night and someone has a good night. I'm just saying, I think he's a level above the division. I mean, I think with Spence and Crawford, everyone has them as favorites against everybody else in the division, bar each other. So yeah, that's what I would say. Any more questions you might have, let me know before I do go. I still thought I'd bring you this recap. I was going to do it tomorrow, but I was like, you know what, I'm up. We promised recaps the night of the fight, so let's do the recaps in it. The show must go on. But again, good to know that Spence seems to be what he was. So now when he does fight Crawford, or if he fights Crawford, which should happen, I'm willing it into the universe, there should be no excuses whatsoever if Crawford wins. I do favor Crawford, but a Spence win wouldn't surprise me, because you're talking two elite welterweights, absolutely elite. Robert Crest here says Spence not ready for Crawford. I wouldn't say all that. I wouldn't say that much. I think Crawford's big. He gives Crawford the most problems easily. He's the one. Nobody else. I don't think anyone else at 147 troubles Crawford apart from Spence. He's the only one I can take an argument seriously for picking the other guy. I favor Crawford too. I personally favor Crawford too, but Spence, we ain't counting out an elite talent like Spence. So Spence is cleaning out the division. You know what I'm saying? He just beat Danny Garcia. He beat Sean Porter. He would beat Keith Thurman. That's why Keith Thurman wasn't trying to fight him. Terrence Crawford, we don't know. And he beats everybody else. Who does Spence not beat apart from Crawford? I did. AV8 says, any of you watch Arthur Yard? I did not watch it, no. I'm sure someone in the comments said it. Usama here says, them fights make sense, bro. Porter said I'm mandatory for both or one of the Spence belts. He's for band. Porter said I'm mandatory for both. One of Spence's belts and the Crawford one. He wants Crawford. That's why I suggested it. And that means that time Spence can fight Crawford. I mean, that time Spence can fight Pacquiao. I hear that. I don't know how Spence is mandatory again, but you know what? Boxing governing bodies, I don't get involved in. I don't even like to chat about that. But I'm with that. Sean Porter is always an entertaining fight. So if we get Spence Porter too, because I enjoyed the first one, or we get Crawford Porter, I'm with either of them. I'm with, you know what I'm saying, entertaining fights. There'll definitely be a knockdown. It would definitely be entertaining, high energy, high paced, and action packed. So I am with it. I am for that. Like, that works for me. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm going to keep saying this. If you're watching this live right now on the YouTube, please make sure you hit the like button on the video, share it across all your socials, and hit the subscribe button on the Sarcasm City YouTube. We are closing in on 1,500 subs. We are getting there. We are under 30 away now, I do believe. So please make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're also closing in on the amount of watch hours we need to be monetized, because you do be asking about super chats. So we are getting there. We're under 300 away now. You need 4,000 public watch hours, and we're under 300 away. So salute to everybody supporting. If you're watching this on my Twitter, please make sure you hit the retweet button and the like button. Facebook, hit that like button and share it. Usama says, watch the last 4 rounds. Yard looked okay, but my boy said Arthur won. The jab was very effective. He barely used his right hand because he was injured. So I did not watch that, so I cannot comment on that whatsoever. But yeah, like I said, just a quick recap. Me, from a personal standpoint, I picked Spence before the fight. Like I said, whether it's Spence before or after the accident, I'm always gonna go with Spence against everyone in that division, bar Crawford. So to see Spence back and not miss a beat is great. Hopefully in 2021 we get Crawford versus Spence twice. That's why we need that twice. We need that twice. Boxing, the sport of boxing needs two elite fighters of that. You know how high caliber that matchup is. So if we got 24 rounds of that, or whether someone got stopped, but if we got a minimum, I don't know, 20 rounds of that in 2021, that is what boxing needs. Adds in the heavyweights as well. That's the type of thing that boxing needs. You get what I'm saying? And that. Let me know your thoughts on that, people. Any more questions, let me know. I'm going to close out the show. Like I said, it's closing in on 6:30 in the morning UK time. Shout out my boy JK. Shout out Lindrick. Shout out Beans who be holding it down over here with the boxing. Make sure you follow. Make sure you watch Walk to the Octagon as well. That's Lindrick's Beans and Stroll. That's the MMA show on Sarcasm City TV. So if you're an MMA, UFC fan, just go to YouTube Sarcasm City and then click on the playlist and all the shows will pop up. All 9 shows we have on here. Yes, we have 9 shows. We're looking to make it 10 before the year's out. You can see them all. Usama says, broski, I'm off to bed. Maybe next time I'll jump on your stream. Love, bro. Keep up the work. Flawless going global, my guy. You know, gang business. You know, appreciate it. Yeah, definitely, man. You seem to know your stuff, so we'll get you on in it. Like I said, definitely. We'll be pointing out the link when it comes to boxing. And obviously, you mentioned football, so I'm guessing you're a United fan as well. So yeah, man, Usama, respect. Much appreciated. Love to Usama and everyone else who's supporting. We really appreciate it. We are back tomorrow. Well, back tonight, technically, actually. So on Sarcasm City TV, Sundays, of course, and you get the Sarcasm City podcast, which goes live at 7 p.m. That's a non-footballing podcast. That's current affairs. So that's hosted by myself, Tox, and JV, where if you're easily offended, that podcast is not for you. We talk all types of wild shit. And we're also joined by multiple special guests. So that's current affairs. And then 8:30, you know what I'm saying? So 8:30 after the Sarcasm City podcast, you get the Sarcasm City Sports Q&A, where we answer questions of all sports. So it's not just Manchester United. It's not just present. It can be any sport, anytime, past or present. So any sport, anytime, past or present. That's hosted by myself, Yan City, Tox, and my big bros, Aviator Mike here on there. And obviously we're joined by special guests on that show too. So make sure you lock in. Oh, he said I'm an Arsenal fan. Don't talk about it. North London derby, we better win. Yeah, I feel for you still as an Arsenal fan. I can see that being a draw. But yes, people, the big thank you for everyone who locked in. Like, appreciated, much appreciated. Big up everyone supporting. Like I said, if you're watching this live right now, please make sure you if you're watching this live or you're watching this back, please make sure you hit the like button on the video. That's important. Share it across all your socials. So share it to your Twitter, share it to your Facebook, share it to your Instagram, and subscribe to the channel also. You know me? Please subscribe to the Sarcasms. We appreciate all the support and hit the notification bell. Big fights, big nights only. We will be back. I'll say that again. The big fights, big nights only show. We will be back next week. So you'll get a preview of AJ Pulev, then you'll get a recap the night of, and then the same for Canelo versus Liam Smith. You'll get a preview, and then you'll get a recap the same nights. So that's what it is with big fights, big nights only. You always get recaps immediately after the fight, like tonight, and then the previews you might get on the same day or during the week, depending on how it's busy. It's myself and JK. Like I said, sometimes joined by Lindrix and Beans. But yes, people, this has been the Big Fights, Big Nights Only show on Sarcasm City TV. Thank you very much for tuning in.